Hello. We are live with Let's Talk Intimacy. Whoop, 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 whoop. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. I hope you can hear me okay. I want to make sure that everybody who needs to be here is invited to be here. So you are all coming in. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. All right, we're just letting everybody come in that needs to be in and going from there. So it'll be all good. All right, this is perfect. Hello, I'm so excited for you guys to be here. I am going to see if pushing this works. It looks like it's working because I pushed it for Instagram too. So we'll see. Come on over. Let's talk intimacy right now. All right, that's Instagram. So we are good. I think we're good. Hey, Joanna. Look, I'm seeing you early. I'm just waiting for people to come in. I'm being special. I'm being so special right now. There we go. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited. And I'm excited. Joanna is going to be on Balance Boldly next week. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Her episode will be out in a few weeks, but we're excited. Welcome. All right. So as you guys are coming in, I know I'm getting text messages from people like, which one? Your Facebook business or your Facebook personal? You guys won't have to worry about any of this in 2 weeks because I really am going to just start hosting it on YouTube. So it's one central place and we'll do all of our lives on YouTube Live, which will be super fun-tastic to do. So that'll be awesome. So welcome. I know a lot of you are going to come in slow. Some of you are going to catch the replay after, and that's totally okay because this is all about you being who you are so you can get deeper connected with you, with your lover, with your partners, with your kids, with your family, with your friends, with your neighbors, and everybody else. Hey, honey. Hey, Kwam. Welcome, welcome. I know that you have a crew of people with you as well behind the scenes, so that is awesome. I'm excited. Okay, I want to jump in because I want to make this as brief and, I said brief with a T, brief and intense as possible in less than 15 minutes, partially because it's been a magnificently full day, but I'm also on skates and I want to be fully present with you to give you all that I got in 15 minutes. So if you have questions that are coming up, obviously, and I'll type it in a box, remember that you can always send them to Ask Naketa at FigPro. So I just put that in there for you. You can always send them if you want to be anonymous with any of your intimacy questions, whether they are sexually related or whether just friendship intimacy related, or it's about intimacy in your business and how to go further with your customer service and your client attraction models and how to keep and retain that top talent that you work so hard to get. So intimacy is 360. It goes all the way across. If you have great intimacy at home, you will be phenomenal, creative, innovative, and dominate at work and vice versa. So it's very much a cycle. It is a 360. For those of you who don't know, my name is Naketa Thigpen. I'm a balance and relationship advisor, the #1 in the world, the owner and founder of FigPro Balance and Relationship Management Institute, which we are a global personal development company that's literally helping ambitious women in business and a few brave men around the world to change the narrative and amplify their intimacy so they can have more freedom and flexibility and the confidence they need to thrive in work, life, and love. So all that we do is really so that you can be your whole self wherever you are and be successful on all fronts. We don't want you to just be really good at getting paper and be horrible in the bedroom. And we don't want you to be horrible in the boardroom, but have these amazing, incredible relationships at home and then feel really incompetent at work. We want you to be your whole self everywhere. So that's effectively what we do. And I'm excited to be here with you. So the reason, someone asked me the other day, and actually again this morning, like, why intimacy, Naketa, like, why are we talking about that? Aren't you afraid that some people aren't going to be able to handle your message? Well, partially, I don't deal with little people. So this is not for the under 18. This really isn't for the under 21. This is definitely for people who are in a space where they want to go further and do greater work in a deeper way with themselves, as well as with the people that they love, so they can have their best lives, right? So when I talk about intimacy, I am absolutely including sexual intimacy. So we are talking about all those questions that you have related to that. I'm qualified to do it. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a certified sex therapist, everything human behavior, relationship management, trauma-informed care. Those are all my spots. And I happen to be a certified breakthrough success coach as a part of what I did, getting into the groove 8 years ago with my business. So, hey, Nikki, welcome, welcome. You say that horrible in the bedroom. I know that's right, Joanna. So, like at the end of the day, we want you to be both. We want you to do great things. And before you sit here and say, well, I don't know if I can ask these questions, or is this the space for me to do it in? I am the most qualified person for you to have that conversation with. And there's no shame here. The circles that I keep are really tight. If you have something that you really want to ask privately, DM me. Don't assume that the question will be asked and answered today, because I can't see all those kind of hidden button things here when I'm with you live, but I can definitely check it back later. Some people have already been doing that, and I'm just like emailing them really quick, and then I'll just, if it's a really sexy topic, I'll bring it back up at the next live stream. We're doing this every week, minus vacation. We're doing this every week. So feel free to send me whatever, anonymously or not. But of course, I encourage you to ask your questions right here live, because a lot of people are thinking what you're thinking. They just may not, feel like they have the confidence, or they might even be in the place where they might be watching this at work or something, and they really can't ask certain questions or do certain things at the time. So feel free. Hey, Danny, welcome. That's my sister, Danny. Welcome, welcome. So I'm really excited that you guys are here. And all the replays, although some of them will live on Facebook, in terms of the replay, all of them will live on YouTube, which is really, really easy. YouTube, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you are. It's under my name, so you can't really mess it up unless you just mess up my name. Let me just put that in the chat box for you guys. Right there. We're going to put them all there, and eventually the whole live, like probably in the next 2 weeks, all of the lives will be hosted there, and your invitations will be to come to YouTube and chat with me there too. So that'll be really easy. So this topic of forgive and let go, for this element of intimacy that we're going to go into really briefly, really intensely for the next 10 minutes, has been sitting on my heart for at least the last few weeks. It was something that I have this whole, I'm a little bit type A, so I have this whole editorial calendar where I'm like, these are roughly the high level umbrella topics I want to go in, and then we'll let the questions kind of organically flow into it. Hey, Kim. Hi, Demir. Welcome, welcome. We, want to be able to do that, but sometimes you just have to move with the Holy Spirit. So for those of you who don't know, you're going to know now. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm highly connected, and I make no apologies for it. That's the way that I lead. With that, you can believe in whoever you want to believe and do what you want to do. That's okay. I'm still going to love you regardless. But just know that that's where I lead in. And so my leading is that from a very spiritual place, I felt like we needed to talk about forgiveness and letting go in a very naked way, so that you can be more connected in your intimacy. The reality is, if we are all sitting in these really funky spaces, harbored with these hard, calcified armors of toughness and rigidness, because we're not forgiving something, or we claim we forgave it, we claim we moved on for it, but we really haven't let it go, it makes it extremely hard for you to do anything, especially to go inward and get in touch with you. And if you haven't seen any of the replays of the last 2-3 weeks of Let's Talk Intimacy, I encourage you, yes, I'm biased because it is great stuff in there, but I encourage you so much to please go watch it, because we talked about the 30-day intimacy challenge, fall of June, what to do Monday through Sunday. We also talked a little bit about boundaries. We talked a lot about being selfish. I am a huge advocate for selfish behavior. Be selfish, take care of you, fill up your own cup so you can have more than enough to give to anybody else, and you can do it without regret. Like, it's lots of conversations on that. some of those things, those themes will come up a lot because I'm just a huge advocate for it. I'm someone who wasn't selfish growing up, who gave everything in an exhausted way and was just, people thought I had a bottomless pit of emotional energy and physical energy and everything else to give. And it not only exhausts you, it makes you get into this space of regret, and you start to not like people and not like the things about yourself that you used to like about what you would do with people. I'm a giver, and I started to not like being a giver. And that is a problem when that's part of who you are, that's your gifting. Maybe it's maybe not your anointed gift, that very special thing that makes you unique, but maybe it's a supported gift. And either way, you don't want to be charred and all your edges be sharp spikes and hurt everyone, including yourself. And you can't even get close to you because you're so spiky and rigid because of those things. And a lot of that stuff will definitely happen and come up if you're not really careful about making sure that you take enough time to be selfish so that you can fill up and then do the selfless work that you have been claiming that you want to do and that you love to do when you're ready to do it, right? So a lot of that stuff is in the last few, but what I've been coming across just in every area of the work that I do, and again, I work with a lot of high-level executive people, a lot of high-level entrepreneurs. When I say high-level, I mean they are very intensely focused on doing the work of impacting others and leaving an imprint in this world. Yes, a lot of them make money, but that's not their goal. Their goal isn't to be pulled forth by that. And so many of them have so much more to give, but they're hindered by something that they haven't let go. So I like to do something. I do it in a lot of my live retreats that I do with smaller cohorts, like the Joy Mat Method, where we take rocks or marbles or something. So this is a tool that you guys can use in your own time. I like the flow of water, so I like to do it around the ocean. So I'll take my VIP groups out there and we'll be around water. Sometimes you just got to work with the space you're in if you're just in a building or a house or whatever the case is. Get a rock or pebble, something that's not necessarily going to, break a window. Put it in your hand and look at it deeply. Look at all the edges, the pores, the surface of it. Feel it, touch it. If it's a marble, the glassy kind of 3D look of it, whatever you need to do to really connect to that rock or marble that you have in your hands. And really think about all the people, places, and things that have hurt you, that you feel strong enough to be able to pull to the surface. Look at the rock or marble. I don't have one in my hand right now, but look at the rock or marble. Think of that person, place, or thing. Maybe it's multiple. I do prefer you use one marble or rock per issue that you have. It just makes things a lot easier to dissect and to really break it down in a way that from a neurological perspective, you can compartmentalize it with your prefrontal cortex and all this other kind of sciencey stuff that you guys don't need to know right now. It's important, but it's not essential. Look at the rock. Think of the problem, person, place, or thing. Touch the rock or marble. I'm gonna just say rock. Touch the rock and really pour in all the energy. I hate that they did this. I was hurt by this. I'm enraged by that. I'm frustrated by this. I'm ashamed because of this. I feel guilty because of that. Whatever it is that was going on that really stuck with you, even if you said you already forgave them, but you know in the core of who you are that you have not let it go. Because if they call you, if you see them, if you see their name pop up in a text message or an email, if a family member mentions their name, you immediately get tight and you go into this space. If that happens, you ain't let it go. You might have forgiven them at a superficial level, but you forgave them for the sake of saying, well, I forgive you and I want to move on. But you actually didn't progress. And the whole purpose of forgiveness is to take that weight off of you. It's really not about the other person. It's to take the weight off of you so that you can move through with ease and flow into whatever part of the world, whatever project or performance-based thing, task that you're doing, whatever your gifting is, that's what it's for, so you can move with ease and flow. If you're swimming across the ocean for survival, let alone to thrive for another level, it's harder to do that with weight, right? You're gonna sink faster than you can go. And the whole point of forgiveness is to let that go so you can move with ease and flow. So pour it all into that rock, everything you got, and it's gonna feel like the most awkward, silly thing in the world to do this very next step, if you didn't already feel awkward with the first part. But it is essential that you then throw it as far and as hard as you can. Caveat, because I don't want y'all breaking windows and then saying, I told you to do something and you didn't cause something catastrophic in your house or your workspace. Get a trash can, old school, ball up the paper, do it. Get a trash can, like aim for it, but just put it as far across the room as you can. This is why I like to do it, with a large body of water, like a lake or ocean, because you can really throw with like everything. Just don't pop. If you're over 40 things, don't pop a muscle, right? Like, don't hurt yourself, but do it as far and as hard as you can, and really like watch it go. And it doesn't really matter. It's not about making the basket. It's not about trying to get it into the middle of the ocean. It's really a cathartic form of you saying, this thing that was holding me, that was binding my brilliance, that was keeping me from something that I'm owed, that I'm due, that I deserve, is no longer a part of what's holding me back, right? So those 1, 2, or 3, some of y'all might need 12 pebbles or 20. It doesn't matter. We all have stuff that we've had, but we have to forgive and let go so that we can get to the next part, the fun part, which is getting naked. And I mean that in every part of the definition that you can think about. So if that means then I can let this go, and now I can be free to enjoy sex with my partner, and I'm not, hung up on this person told me I didn't do this right before in my past sexual relationship or my past intimate moments, or I only need to have the lights out, because I don't want to be seen. If that's what it takes to free you up, then so be it. But you have to like literally let go of all of that so you can get naked physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And it is impossible for you to get naked and get in touch with yourself and be more intimate with you, so that you can be more intimate with your partner, more intimate with your children, with the people who matter with you, which simply means going a little further. That's all intimacy is, going a little further in those relationships and really recognizing that person and loving on that person. And intimate in work and with your peers and your coworkers and your customers. You can't do any of that if you are holding on and harboring because you gave a superficial forgive. You have to forgive and let go so that you can get naked. What questions do you guys have about that? Very quick and intense tool. I know it's a lot. Everybody laughs and feels really awkward about it when I first say it, and then they do it. And I can't tell you how many people are like, Naketa, you had me at the back of my house when I live in a townhouse community, gated area, whatever, and I'm standing between houses and throwing rocks into the lake, and my neighbors think I'm crazy, but it was so freeing, because it is. It is. I give you permission to be as awkward as you need to be able to forgive and let that stuff go, whatever it is. Any questions about that? Yes, Joanna. That's my social worker sister. She understands. It's all about that transference. 1,000%. 1,000%. Hi, Stacy. Hey, Brigette. Oh, Brigette, oh my God, I haven't talked to you forever. Welcome, welcome. No questions? You guys are good? You don't feel super awkward about this tool that I just gave you that will absolutely help to free you and unbind you? And it's probably going to make some of you release some liquid water from your body. I know we got some brave men here as well as some ambitious women, and some people have issues with tears and crying, but it's simply a cleansing release to clear you and to cleanse you. No questions? It's all right if you don't. I just want to give you permission to ask whatever you want. Sounds easy. It is very simple. It's very, very simple. Thank you, Nikki. It is so simple. And most things are. Like, most of the tools are extremely simple, but they're not necessarily easy. And I mean that from the context of really pouring into it and doing the work. Stuff comes up and you're like, I did not anticipate this. But it's coming up because it's buried in there and it's calcified over top of your purpose, and it's holding you back from that next level of yourself. What about when those feelings come back per someone else? What's wrong with the lights out? All right, we got 2 things that I need to address with that one. Thank you so much, Kwam. All right, so for Joanna, for your statement about when those feelings come back, a lot of time, like the feelings, you can't really necessarily change your feelings, right? Your feelings can come up based on, what wasn't dealt with, if someone provoked something, road rage, like there's all kind of stuff. You're like, I didn't even know where that came from. You can't necessarily always control your feelings at a high level. That's not technically true if we've done deep-rooted work, like through therapy and psychotherapy and, all that kind of stuff, right? But let's just assume that that topic hasn't been dealt with that way. with really deep-rooted processing, the feeling is something that we have to acknowledge more than anything, and then we choose the behavior that follows after it. So I can choose how I react to my feelings, even though my feeling might have surprised me and like jumped up and caught me off guard. But I can't necessarily say that I don't have power over the behavior that I had in reaction to that. And part of that behavior from a neuroscience perspective with a little bit of emotional behavioral science in there is to literally tell your conscious, which filters all the thoughts back to your subconscious, and it is your subconscious that's ruling everything you do, from the scripts we have as kids and all that kind of good stuff that were planted before we were 7 years old, like all of that stuff in there. I can tell my behavior for that feeling that I was like, dang, that feeling came up. That feeling came up, shoot, my behavior is stop it. And I literally say, stop it to myself, to my unconscious self that's trying to bring up all that protective stuff that would normally, keep me from feeling like I need to trust someone or let someone in or not trust someone and armor myself because someone else will hurt me or they'll do it again. When you really let go something, when you are numb to it. And I don't mean numb in a bad, edgy way. I mean numb like I can see that chick that totally betrayed my trust financially, business, or any other way prior. I can see her and still be okay with the fact that she just walked in and we're on the panel together. And I could be like, good morning. How are you? I hope your family is well, and mean it. But absolutely be okay when she says, oh yeah, girl, we should catch up, because she think everything is good, right? Or he think everything is good. Like, oh no, you have an amazing life. I have no intention on having coffee with you, but there's no anger there, right? Like, so there's a way to deal with that. So choose the behavior to dominate the feeling that might be coming up if there's some residual stuff that needs to work through. From my brother Kwame, he had a great question from somebody else that said, what's wrong with turning out the lights out? There's nothing wrong with the lights being out, and this is for the sexual part of the intimacy. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the lights being out if that's part of the play and both people are into it and that's what you want to do. There is something wrong with the lights being out if you're doing it to cover yourself because you don't feel confident and sexy and you don't feel, worthy of being seen. There is absolutely something wrong with that, because then that means that there's stuff there that needs to be dealt with. There may be some forgiveness of self, or maybe, we were all young once. We all had other relationships. Maybe you haven't forgiven yourself for being in other relationships or doing certain things with other people, or, maybe there's some trauma stuff that hasn't been dealt with. There's a lot of reasons, that not all trauma related, right? But there's a lot of reasons that could make someone feel unworthy of being looked at. But that's the stuff that we would have to deal with. Hey, Brooklyn. Let me see. Are those feelings, Kwame? Releasing eye liquid prior to even doing the exercise, LOL. Nikki, I love you so much for that. So true, so true. Listen, I have such a weird reaction emotionally. One of my sisters and I were just talking about this the other day at dinner. We're not necessarily super emotional people around funerals and death and dying and other things. It doesn't mean that I'm not compassionate and I'm not empathetic, but I'll also release liquid water from my body when I'm watching a commercial that has nothing to do with nothing and something silly happened, and all of a sudden it'll just come out. The release is going to happen one way or another. It's just a matter of when. And my, previous trauma and other things, I'm a multi-trauma survivor. I think I've shared that with many of you who are here from other contexts and speaking engagements that you've seen me at. And sometimes because of that other trauma, there is an armor that's built in as a defense mechanism from your brain just to keep you from re-experiencing those things again. Now, part of the consequence of me having that armor that protected me, throughout my life and growing up to help me survive those circumstances, one of the consequences was I was a little bit more emotionally detached from what normal people would say or things you should have a reaction to. But it also made me be an extremely effective clinician, because I don't have a poker face in my real life. But when I'm in a therapeutic, situation in the context, I'm able to not show or feel this high level judgment that some other therapists might show at the table, or other balance advisors or other coaches, because they're showing their disdain or disgust for the activity that you are confidently sharing with them. And I don't have that judgment because I'm not connected to that thing in that way, but I can still be empathetic and compassionate. I hope that makes sense. So it's okay. I said all that to say that it is totally okay. Hey, Charlie! Dr. Charlie's here. Oh, thank you. Dr. Charlie said these are true gems. I appreciate that so much. For any of you who just came on in maybe the last 5 or 6 minutes, after the first 2-3 minutes of welcoming people in, I just went right in. So please, once the replay is done, jump all the way in and eat up all the good stuff. I am going to let you guys go because I have to jump on a call because, you know, running a business and all that good stuff. And I love this, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week. Next Thursday, I am looking forward to it. I am planning on it being 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I know some of you are West Coast and there's some Chicago on here and some other things. But today it just was what it was. So the goal is always 11:30, but no matter what, if I promise to show up, even if I'm behind my own designated time, I will show up because I do what I say I'm going to do. Minus an emergency. I do got babies. But outside of that, because we're not claiming any emergencies, this was phenomenal. I hope you guys got some good stuff and that you use the tools as much as possible. Please check out the replay. It will be up on Facebook probably in like 40 seconds after I close this out, and it'll be on YouTube probably in the next 24 hours. The rest of the ones you can go to YouTube now and check it out. Again, you got questions, send them to asknaketa@thigpro.com or just DM me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. I'm Ask Naketa everywhere. I love you to life, and I pray that this served you extremely well as we got to forgive and let go and get naked. Remember, your intimacy matters. I'll talk to you soon.